All right, let's dive right in. We're going to break down the single most important wager in all of sports betting. Seriously, if you want to build a solid foundation, you have to understand the single bet. It's the bedrock for everything else, so let's get to it.
I totally get it. You open up a betting site for the first time, and it's just this wall of numbers, decimals, and weird terms. It can feel, well, pretty overwhelming. But trust me on this, once you break it down, it's way, way simpler than it looks.
And that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to cut through all that noise and just focus on the most straightforward, most common wager there is. This is the perfect entry point into the world of betting.
So, let's get down to it. Your first bet? Singles. What exactly is a single bet? At its core, it's the simplest move you can make. And really understanding it is that first big step toward betting with some real confidence.
It honestly is as simple as it sounds. A single bet is just a wager on one specific thing to happen. You know, one team to win, one horse to finish first, one player to score a goal. That's it. One event, one outcome. It makes it incredibly easy to follow along and know if you've won or not.
All right, let's talk about the numbers, the odds and payouts. Now this is where people can get a little intimidated, but you're about to see that for a single bet, the math is refreshingly simple. No complex calculus here, I promise.
This right here, this is the only formula you're going to need. Your stake, which is just the money you bet, multiplied by the odds that the bookmaker offers, equals your total return. And just remember, that return includes your original stake. Oh, and what are odds? Just think of them as the bookie's way of showing probability. Higher odds, lower chance of it happening. But hey, a much bigger payout if it does.
Okay, theory is one thing, but a real-world example just makes everything click into place. So let's take a look at an English Premier League match and see this super simple formula in action.
Let's walk through this together. Say you bet 10 euros, that's your stake. The odds for Tottenham to win are 1.80. You multiply those two and you get a total return of 18 euros. But here's the key number, the one you really care about, your profit. You just subtract your original 10 euro stake from that 18 euro return and you're left with 8 euros in pure profit. See, it's that straightforward.
Knowing how to calculate what you could win is obviously crucial, but it's just as important to find a solid, reliable platform to bet on in the first place. For anyone starting out, a good resource can make all the difference. So here's a quick tip. If you are looking for a list of the best betting sites in your country with a 300% bonus, a quick search for betplace.us in your browser will point you in the right direction.
Okay, so now that we've totally mastered the basic single bet, let's look at a really popular variation called an each-way bet. I want you to think of it like a single bet that comes with its own little safety net, giving you a chance to win even if your pick doesn't quite finish in first place.
So, an each-way bet is basically two single bets rolled into one. Half of your total money goes on your pick to win the whole thing, and the other half, that goes on your selection to place, which usually means finishing in the top 2 or 3 spots. The exact number of places depends on the sport, but it's a fantastic way to hedge your bet. This table shows it perfectly. A 10 euro each-way bet means your total stake is actually 20 euros. See, 10 euros are on the win part, and the other 10 are on the place part. So if England wins the whole tournament, fantastic. You collect on both bets for a 155 euro return. But if they only make it to the final and lose, you still get that 55 euro return from the place bet, which definitely softens the blow. You're going to see each-way betting pop up most often in events with a ton of competitors, like horse racing or big golf tournaments. You'll also see it for long-term bets, like predicting who will win a league. It's a really key feature to look for as you start exploring different betting markets. And speaking of exploring markets, having a go-to resource can be a huge help. So again, if you are looking for a list of the best betting sites in your country with a 300% bonus, just searching for betplace.us is a really good place to start your research.
Next up, let's cover a scenario that you will definitely run into if you bet on stuff like horse racing or top goal scorer markets, the dead heat. What on earth happens when there's a tie for first place?
A dead heat is just what it sounds like. It's a tie for a winning position. It could be 2 horses crossing that finish line at the exact same moment, or maybe 2 golfers ending a tournament with the exact same score. So how does that mess with your payout?
Well, the rule for a dead heat is actually pretty logical. Your original stake gets divided by the number of winners. So if 2 horses tie, your stake is cut in half. If 3 golfers tie, it's divided by 3. You then get paid out based on this new smaller stake, but, and this is important, at the full original odds you were first given.
Okay, we've covered the mechanics, the nuts and bolts of how these bets actually work. But knowing the rules, that's only half the battle. Now, let's shift gears and talk a little strategy, because making smart decisions is what really matters in the long run.
Following these simple tips is absolutely crucial for building good habits. Start small, just small stakes until you feel comfortable. Always understand your potential profit and loss before you click that confirm bet button. And probably the two most important rules of all, control your emotions. Don't just bet on your favorite team because you want them to win, and never ever chase your losses with impulsive bets. Patience is your best friend here.
And you know, at the end of the day, a smart strategy needs the right tools. A reliable, easy-to-use platform isn't just a nice-to-have. It's a totally non-negotiable part of betting responsibly and effectively.
And on that note, to wrap up with one last bit of practical advice. If you are looking for a list of the best betting sites in your country with a 300% bonus, searching for betplace.us is a simple way to compare the top-rated sites and bonuses that are available where you are.
I want to leave you with this key takeaway. Single bets. They aren't just for beginners, they're for smart bettors. By focusing on just one outcome, you are automatically reducing your risk compared to more complicated bets. Mastering the single is, without a doubt, the most effective way to build a solid foundation of betting knowledge.
And that leaves us with the most important question of all, doesn't it? You now know the mechanics of how to place a bet and how to calculate your winnings. But the next step, the real game, is asking yourself what separates a simple bet from a smart bet. Now that's a topic for another day. Thanks for joining this explainer.